there, it's Kevin with Roguedeckbuilder.com here with a new Theros brew that I've been messing around with. This is a continuation of the Annex and Simead build, and with the latest spoilers, we have a few more cards that I'd like to include in this. And I have a rough 60 out of 60 deck that I'm definitely going to play around with as soon as Theros comes out. I'll definitely be piloting this. Probably the first deck that I'll be trying out. The deck is based around, again, the heroic ability, and plus we got the new amazing 4-drop in Canyon Minotaur. Actually, this guy's just place holding for this dude right here, which is... Now I got to see how you pronounce this. This big fire dude guy. So his name is Perforos. God of the Forge. And his ability is he's 4 mana for an indestructible. As long as your devotion of red is less than 5, Perforos isn't a creature. So it remains as an enchantment until you get the 5 devotion to get him up to a 6/5, which is nuts. It's going to be very hard in this deck to actually get him to be a 6/5, as a lot of the cards are tokens, and there's a lot of white in this as well. But it's just amazing that what his ability does, whenever a creature enters the battlefield under your control, it deals 2 damage to each opponent. That's amazing. That's your gutter snipe type ability, but for creatures! Why didn't this exist last standard with my Burn of the Stake deck? I could have totally replaced Burn of the Stake. Anyway, each creature you control gets +1 most of your own until end of turn. It's 2 and R, which is awesome. That's I think, isn't that the exact same mana cost as the Sunhome Guildmage? So I mean, it's good. It's late game. You can actually use your unused mana for whatever creature tokens you have out to try to finish off the game. So very, very, very good card. Again, it looks pretty cool too. Look at that artwork coming out of Volcano. So the deck is based around those, and the few of the other cards here, I've got God's Willing. God's Willing, the placeholder I have for God's Willing is Face Shield. It's a great protection. It'll keep your own Pyromancers alive. It'll keep your other heroic dudes alive, and plus trigger off their heroic. And the 2 new heroic guys besides Annex and Simead that have been spoiled as Akron Crusader, which is just nuts. And it's a common. This card's awesome. 1 for a 1/1, and whenever you cast a spell that targets it, you put a 1/1 red soldier creature token with haste onto the battlefield. Haste! So second turn, you're going to be swinging in for 5. I'll show you how. And it's going to be very consistent to do it that way. So anyway, the other one is Phalanx Leader. The only thing I don't like about this card is it's double white, and it's going to be a little hard to pull off. And if it ends up being too hard, I'll probably just replace it with a card like Gutter Snipe or Molten Birth, or something else that just puts creatures. But I love its ability. Whenever you cast a spell that targets it, put a +1 counter on each creature you control. Amazing. I love it. So all your young Pyromancers elemental tokens are going to be huge. And same thing with, I mean, it's got great synergy with Akron Crusader. First turn if you have a Sacred Foundry, in the second turn Phalanx Leader, in the third turn, my super secret, super duper tech here, with the Marshal's Glory. So you'll be able to cast on third turn Marshal's Glory, trigger, because you'll be able to cast it targeting 2 different creatures. You'll get a 1/1 haster. You'll get a +1 counter on all of them. I don't know how it actually targets. I think you stack it. So you can stack it so you can put the 1/1 haster into play before the +1/+1 counter goes on all your creatures. So you'll be able to swing in that third turn for 5 from the 1/1, 5 from your 1/1, which Legion Loyalist is holding in place for, and then 3 with your 2/2, which is now a 3/3, and then 2 with your haster that just came into play. So a total of 10 damage on turn 3. That's no joke. So I mean, there's a couple of different routes you can go, and I probably need to mess around with this more. I'm thinking about more Young Pyromancer, and if I go Young Pyromancer Gutter Snipe, you could go like a full-out burn combination with Gutter Snipe, and then just like a bunch of, you got Shocks, you got Magna Jets, you have Boros Charms, you have War Leader's Helix. Let's bring this out here so you can see the cards better. See what I'm talking about here. And yeah, the cards like Shock and whatnot. And there we go. For your viewing pleasure. And then, so you could just go a full-out like Boros burn deck, and it wouldn't be bad at all. But then you'd want a better 1-drop in, I guess Legion Loyalist itself wouldn't be too bad, but you'd probably want a better 1-drop to start some early pressure, and then you just try to win by burning them out with Young Pyromancer, Gutter Snipe, and then you would have the the god, the red god, to do damage every time a creature comes into play. There's also a couple other routes with enchantments. Enchantments are really cool too. You have like Ethereal Armor. I'll pull up like all the cards that I've thought about. Ethereal Armor and Madcap Skills. There's 2 double strikers in red now. You've got the Fencing Ace from Return to Ravnica, and then you also have a new, it's a 1/2 devil. It's a 1/2 double striker for 3, which they pair up really well with enchantments. And you have like Fiendslayer Paladin that pairs up really well with like Madcap Skills and whatnot. So you can kind of go that route, but I don't know if that's the right way to go. The cool thing is that the red god is an enchantment, and so it will help out your Ethereal Armor count. And then you have so many accesses. You're in red and white that have awesome enchantments here. You have Legion's Initiative. In fact, Legion Initiative probably should go in the oops, it's called Legions, right? Isn't it called Legion's Initiative? Let's see here. Yeah, Legion Initiative. This probably should go in the deck, as all red creatures you control get +1/+0. That's just kind of cool with all the tokens you're going to be producing. 2/1 Young Pyromancer tokens, and all the 1/1s from the, what do they call this dude? The Akron Crusader. So, I mean, tons and tons and tons of options for this deck. I mean, you have just so many different options you can go, so many different routes you can go. Like I said, a burn strategy, you can go an enchantment strategy, you can go all-out creature strategy. But let's get back to the deck that I've made. And again, the sideboard isn't ready yet, 29 here. We have, I think the main board, these are what I've cut down to, I think, the best cards. The best Boros Charm, I think, is Martial Glory, Boros Charm, and Dynacharge are my choice for cards that I will target my dudes with, as Boros Charm gives it double strike. I mean, a double strike on a 4/2 isn't bad whatsoever. Then if it got pumped up by a 1/1 counter or whatnot, it's a 5/5. It's going to do 10 damage from a Boros Charm. Plus, of course, the 4 damage to the face is amazing, and all your permanents become indestructible is so good in this deck. It's an answer for Supreme Verdicts and Gaze of Granite and Ratchet Bomb, which are going to be a problem, especially Ratchet Bomb. So you're in a color that is very, very, and you could even go, if you're worried about that, go Rootborn Defenses, and I think Rootborn Defenses will actually be decent in this deck. Then we have, so Martial's Glory, like I've already talked about how that works. Boros Charm, Dynacharge, you can go up the count. It's just pretty cool. It'll give +2/+0 until end of turn. So if you put it on your 1-drop, it's like doing 3 damage because you get a 1/1 haster and be able to swing in for the +2/+0 on your dude. So it'll be a total of 4 damage with the Dynacharge on like turn 2. And the Overload late game isn't bad either. You've got that option for the Overload, +2/+0 to all creatures. And I've just got Shocks for removal package. Again, Magna Jet is definitely a great card in here. So, and then Flames of the Firebrand. I've talked about this in my other video. You can Flames, save an Annex and a Phalanx Leader out. And if he's got a counter on him, I think you can actually target him and he will get a counter. You can actually Flames of the Firebrand 3 of your heroic guys to trigger off the heroic and clear out a blocker. So, I mean, Flames of the Firebrand is amazing in this deck. So I definitely think that it could be a 4 of. Again, that's why I have them in the sideboard. Like I said, the options are crazy in this deck. There's so many options. You got cards like Ogre Battle Driver, which is really, really cool. It has very good synergy with everything in this deck. And, of course, the red god here, Mr. Minotaur. Actually, he's not a Minotaur. He's just a god. Isn't that what they call him? He's just that is his god. Yep, Dio. Legendary god. All right. Anyway, so good synergy between Ogre Battle Driver. And yeah, I think I've talked about every card now here in the only problem is we do need another fixer. I'd love another way to get out a first turn red into a second turn double white. I'm hoping the filter lands is what they're called. They reprint those. That'd be awesome. But I'm sure there'll be new lands. They've already spoiled a bunch of different lands. I think there is a red and white land, though, it looked like. A City of War, which appears to me, usually when we're talking about war, like Boros or back in Slayer's Stronghold, it's usually been the colors of red and white. So I'm highly looking forward to a red-white dual land, which I do think is going to be spoiled here in the next couple of days. So that should fix our deck completely. Now, off to the sideboard, I've got other instances of sorceries that target creatures or players, or creatures especially. Swift Justice is amazing against the aggro matchups. +1/+0, lifelink, first strike. It'll double his removal. You'll get life out of it. You'll save your creature. Amazing, a 3-for-1. Then you have the... Ooh, okay, there's my 6 packs and 1 season qualifier for my Bug Immortal Servitude. I've gone consecutive 4 times in a row now with Bug Immortal Servitude. I just can't pull the trigger on that 4-0. This time I happened to lose against a Esper deck, which went 2-2, I believe. So I was kind of upset about that I lost to usually what is an easy matchup, but it's Esper. A lot of people aren't using Esper now because of this card here, Burning Earth. But this particular deck was, and a Sorin stabilized him for long enough to find his rest in peace both game to shut down my strategy. Anyway, back to the deck before I get sidetracked even more. Face Shield, of course, is God's Willing. The Scry, and then target creature gets protection from a permanent color of your choice. Then more. I've talked about Dino Charge, Gutter Snipe, Mazium Mortars, Flames Firebrand. Assemble the Legion. I think this is going to be an amazing sideboard because then you could just go into more of a control route. You'd say you'd bring these in to help stabilize, and then you bring these in, and you bring these in, and you bring these in, and bring these in, and then you just cut everything out, and you just wait till this like late game combination between Ogre Battle Driver and Canyon Minotaur, aka Red God, as each one of these will do 2 damage when they come into play by either the Ogre Battle Driver or the Red God doing 2 damage, and yeah, so it's just you switch over. So any deck that like Abrupt Decay, Putrefy deck, the Doomblade deck, like a Rock is definitely going to be a huge deck because you still have Scavenging Ooze, Desecration Demon. So against a Rock, you just sideboard out all your early stuff. I mean, these come out, and you might want to leave. I mean, all of this can come out, and you just go this more late game package, and you'd have to bring in some other stuff here. I mean, maybe another Assemble Legion would be in the sideboard, and you could bring in cards like Gutter Snipe or something like that, or keep in one of these, and you just go for this like late game straight burn to the face, stabilize with War Leader's Helix, and Assemble Legion finish them off. So I'm loving this combination. Theros is looking amazing for brewing. I haven't even begun to scratch the surface with all the other gods that have just been spoiled. I really like the white one. Let's check some of these spoilers out here. The cards that I'm really interested in, I will do a top 10 again when the set becomes closer, but Helot, God of the Sun, as long as it's white. Okay, so other creatures control have vigilance, not too bad, not that great. It's just a 5/6, but you could put a 1/1 white cleric enchantment creature token onto the battlefield, so it counts as enchantment. So you have all those like ethereal armor type enchantment stuff that it triggers with. Very cool card with Helion, God of the Sun. Is it standard playable? I don't know, but I mean, just great cards here. Gift of Immortality is really cool. When enchanted creature dies, return that card to the battlefield under its control, and then you get to return Gift of Immortality to the battlefield attached to that creature at the beginning of the next end step. It's like an immortal dude. Har har. And what's cool is it triggers off if any, like, says an enchantment comes into play with a Johnny Chosen, then that triggers. So really cool. Loving Theros. Do I think it's the most powerful set? I don't know yet. We'll have to wait and see. I mean, cards like, of course, Thoughtseize are just amazing. And it seems like it's going to be very fun to draft. So, yeah, it's just a really cool set. I'm going to be buying a bunch of boxes. I don't know what you guys are going to be doing. And yeah, so definitely keep watching the channel for preview cards and more spoilers coming up. I was able to do a preview card here, the Battlewise Hoplite exclusive preview with Gathering Magic. That was an awesome experience. So go check that out at gathermagic.com. I did a review on Battlewise Hoplite. This card is awesome, and I did like a white blue with hidden strings type deck. So definitely go check that out. Hope you enjoy this video. This is Kevin with Roguedeckbuilder.com. Thanks for watching.